Okay, thank you.
No.
Okay, I'm going to call this meeting of the Transportation Committee to order. May I have a roll call?
Chaplin,
Here.
Covert, Evans, Tornatori,
Here.
Ozak,
Here.
Say.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any public comment
We
today?
do not.
All right. Next, I'm going to move to approve the minutes of our Tuesday, November 5th, 2024 meeting. I have a second. Any comments or changes? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next, I'm going to move to combine items 6A through 6E, which are change orders. I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I move to approve 3008 Civil Tech Engineering contract extension through October 31st, 2025. Move to approve 3009 Santa Cruz Land Acquisition Serb Contract extension through October 31st, 2025. I move to approve item 243027 Chastain and Associates contract extension through October 31st, 2025. I move to approve item 243028 H.W. Lochner Serb contract extension through October 31st, 2025. And item 243029 Premier Engineers contract extension through October 31st, 2025.
Second.
Okay. Second. Any comments, changes? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next, I move to approve item 243016 amendment to DTP 001924 issued to Peterbilt, Illinois Joliet Incorporated, doing business as JX Truck Center, to furnish and deliver Cummins engine repair and parts as needed for the Division of Transportation to increase the encumbrance in the amount of $25,000, resulting in an amended contract total amount of $85,000, an increase of 41.67%. I have a second. Any comments or questions about this item? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Right. Next, moving on to procurement requisitions. I move to combine items A through C.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I move to approve item 243010, recommendation for the approval of a contract issued to Cara Soft Technology Corporation to provide 5 open road designer select license renewals and subscriptions for the Division of Transportation for the period December 1st, 2024 through November 30th, 2025 for a contract total not to exceed $16,210, exempt from bidding IT telecom purchases which do not exceed $35,000. Pardon me. I move for approval of 243017, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to MD Solutions to furnish and deliver signpost reflectors and linear delineation panels as needed for the Division of Transportation for the period December 1st, 2024 through November 30th, 2025 for a contract total not to exceed $21,500 per lowest responsible bid, first of 3 renewals. And I move for approval of DTP 005224, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Lightly Enterprises of Ohio, LLC, to furnish and deliver roll-up signs as needed for the Division of Transportation for the period December 1st, 2024 through November 30th, 2025 for a contract total not to exceed $40,020 per lowest responsible bid, first of 3 renewals.
Second.
Second, okay.
Barbie can't say.
No.
Just a reminder, she said, I need a second. Any comments or changes? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, next I move to approve, I move to combine items D through H, 8D through H.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I move to approve DTP 005324, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Mandel Metals Incorporated, doing business as U.S. Standard Sign Company, to furnish and deliver aluminum sign blanks as needed for the Division of Transportation for the period December 1st, 2024 through November 30th, 2025 for a contract total not to exceed $49,667.88 per lowest responsible bid, first of 3 renewals. I move for approval of item of DTP 005424, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Imperial Lubes and Supply to furnish and deliver automotive lubricants as needed for the Division of Transportation for the period December 1st, 2024 through November 30th, 2025 for a contract total not to exceed $50,000 per lowest responsible bid. I move for approval of DTP 005524, Recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Lightly Enterprises of Ohio to furnish and deliver sign faces as needed for the Division of Transportation for the period December 1st, 2024 through November 30th, 2025, for a contract total not to exceed $65,107.67 per lowest responsible bid, first of three renewals. I move to approve item DTP 005624. Recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to MD Solutions to furnish and deliver signposts as needed for the Division of Transportation for the period December 1st, 2024 through November 30th, 2025, for a contract total not to exceed $75,461.20 per lowest responsible bid, first of three renewals. And finally, I move for approval of DTP 005724. Recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Lightly Enterprises of Ohio to furnish and deliver reflective sheeting rolled goods as needed for the Division of Transportation for the period December 1st, 2024 through November 30th, 2025, for a contract total not to exceed $90,000 per lowest responsible bid, first of three renewals. Second. Okay. Any comments or questions about all of these? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, any old business? Mr. Zach?
I had a couple. Geneva Road Bridge, are we gonna be able to get another lane open before the winter, or I know you guys were closed?
That's still our hope.
Okay.
We're gonna get an update here in at the end of this week as the contractor's looking at, what's coming weather-wise partly. But their plan was all along to get the both directions open for winter.
Okay, great. And the other thing, a lot's been talked about this transportation thing, and that a lot of these things were done in secret. That's farthest from the truth.
Yes.
Our staff and this committee, and we've had multiple meetings. This has been on the books for 2 to 3 years that we've been talking about this, and anyone who hadn't attended all these meetings to insinuate that, I mean, I take offense to it, because our staff has been very open during this procedure, and it's nothing new, it's no secret, it's been out there. We know the old facility is old and it had to be replaced. And once that decision was made, I mean, I don't think the board has wavered, this committee I know hasn't wavered at all moving forward. And I just didn't like the position I was put in last week with the press, didn't know anything about it. And I mean, that's what they were pushing at, was insinuating that there were secret meetings and all that, and there wasn't. And again, I think it was totally out of line, and I commend the chair for not blowing a stack and losing with somebody, but we all work well together with this guy.
An
Yeah,
Irish woman blowing her staff?
we all work.
I
well
resemble
together.
that remark.
We all work well together,
Yes.
facilities, transportation, stormwater, everybody always works well together, development and zoning, we all work together when there's issues, and to insinuate that we're not is really
And I think-
uncalled for.
We really operate under a no surprises very much, and this was no surprise. And this plan has been talked about. Well, our meeting was October 30th, 2023, our joint meeting, so there's really no issue. So I think the article that was published on Sunday morning was pretty fair, and there we are. So it's, yeah, but thank you, Mr. Say, appreciate it. Member Say. Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Is that, so I know that the plan that was presented to us last year, it's different than what we have now. Is that gonna be in this committee soon? Is that gonna be presented in this committee
We are planning on presenting it next week at Finance.
at finance? Okay,
So that way the entire board hears it at the same time. And anything else you want to add?
Yeah, so,
I mean, it's-
yeah,
It's fundamentally.
yeah, the schematic that Economic Development shared this morning is kind of the footprint is generally the same. But yes, we plan to share the details to this point. So far, we've not begun any kind of detailed design, but we plan to share that at Finance Committee so we could get the entire board there.
so the only comment I would have is, I would like, there's always turnover. Every 2 years, there's gonna be a new board, and so it would be nice if we had something that got us all up to speed on the history and also the needs of, I understand the 140 building, but the admin building, I would like to get more information on, like county staff. I want to make sure that we build it, future-proof it. Whatever we put out there, I want to make sure that it's everything we need. I want you guys to have a rooftop deck, But I would love to see something that, you know, we can be proud of. I want to make sure that we get it right this first time, and I don't want to rush things, and it'd be nice to know how many people are gonna be served, whether or not they can actually, if DuPage can actually stay here, if there's any, how much work went into
Sure.
looking at how many staff members are gonna be in this building, and whether or not we could even rent something cheaper somewhere else.
So right now, we're working on the assumption that we would not just fit all 75, 80 of our maintenance folks in that facility, but the other 35 of us as well, with room to expand both groups. So there should be plenty of room. The consultant will be tasked with making sure that we're not going to outgrow that in the next 75 years or so. So we are trying to future-proof it. To your point, and make sure that we fit in there, and we can explain that in more detail for you.
Okay, thanks.
And I think it'll really be important to have everyone under one roof. And I'm sure Mike will appreciate his commute being shortened to meetings like this. But in general, though, I think for operational purposes, it's going to be just a much better situation.
Stormwater's calling your guys' offices in 421 here. We want to be
That
one of
is
those.
perhaps a side benefit.
We want to move down.
Member Chaplin.
Yes, and I think if I remember right, and I don't know when it was, maybe last October, but I believe that we were brought forward several different options. One was off-site, one was here, one was, I think we talked about the state police facility over there off of Finley. I mean, we looked at a lot of different options for this facility, and I think it was a recommendation of everybody that keeping it here was probably the most fiscally responsible and logistically made the most sense, and was the right thing to do. So we did do our due diligence as far as looking for, I remember even talked about someplace in Burr Ridge, right? So I know we talked about a lot of places.
I think there was a site at North Avenue. and
Yeah, we-
County
Farm
Farm,
Road.
County
Yeah,
Farm
we
in St.
looked all
Charles,
over.
there's a
So-
large
so
lot that was brought
I
up.
think this committee, and none of those were held in executive session or closed session meetings. Those were all
To Mr.
open
Zay's
session
point.
meetings, to Mr. Zay's point. And I did get a phone call as well, but I didn't even know how to answer it. So, because I'm like, I haven't heard any problems. So, yeah, I think we've done a great job on this. Transportation did their due diligence, and now it's just up for the presentation and the board to decide what direction they want to go in.
Great, yeah, so yeah, those other sites, they all had a fatal flaw for one
Yep.
reason.
Member
I will
Evans.
say that, for the presentation, it would have been nice if we had something in this committee instead of going straight to finance, because we did have those, they called us in, for me once, and then I think Patty Guston, member Guston came in, that we did have some private conversations with regards to this current design. So my preference would be to have it in this committee. It's too late now, but my preference would have been for us to have those discussions that we had in private in this committee.
Any other comments or questions? Any new business? No new business? Okay, not hearing any new business, I move to adjourn. All in favor?
Hi.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Good job, Mary.
All right.
No Thursday.